Hello, my name is Terry. This video will cover our July 26th, 2019 investigation of Pythian Castle. Even before we started the investigation, I was setting up equipment down in the tunnel when I heard Mr. Boots whistling down inside the tunnel. This is very unusual. In all the years we've been investigating, I've never heard him whistling down in the tunnel. Usually along the main hallways I've heard him whistling, and on many occasions he seems to be able to influence the guests into whistling for him. When I asked people about were they realizing that they were whistling, some of them were realizing it and some didn't. The next clip is a personal experience from a small group of people. They'd requested down in the tunnel for Mr. Boots to stomp his feet, and Mr. Boots did it for them. They heard him stomping his feet down the tunnel. Mr. Boots is well known for doing things that people ask, knocking on the pipes, asking to hear his footsteps. You can make requests of him, and sometimes he's very obliging to do these things.
It was on cue. He asked, "Can you stomp for us?" And it was boom, boom, as soon as he asked.
What we heard in the tunnel, when it was just me, the kid, and his dad, was pretty incredible. Because he said, "Mr. Boots, if you're here, can you stomp for us?" And it was on cue. 2 stomps.
The next clip is very interesting. I asked Mr. Boots if he was here this evening. A woman in the group said, "I don't think so." But Mr. Boots piped up in EVP voice and said, "Yes, I am," contradicting her. Mr. Boots, are you here this evening? While walking back to the tunnel entrance, we heard something knocking on the pipes. Shortly after, several people felt a cold spot in the tunnel. And then another person described that they had walked through cobwebs. This is the most common form of people being touched. Usually people don't get poked or grabbed. That does happen on some occasions. But this cobwebby feeling that you're walking through it and you're trying to wave it out of your face is the most common sensation of being touched. Did something whack on the pipe?
Was that it? I heard that.
And it just got cold like right here.
Yeah, it's like freezing. I don't know if it was because we're walking.
No, it wasn't. It was
Yeah, I just felt like I walked through a spider web. Huh?
Okay, see, there are no spider webs here. We'd asked Mr. Boots repeatedly to whistle for us. The camera at the end of the tunnel where I was asking never picked this up, but the one at the beginning of the tunnel did pick up a whistling voice. When I was setting up the equipment, I heard you whistling.
I'd like to hear you whistle.
Let's hear you whistle. At the end of the first rotation, I went back to the tunnel to make sure that everyone had exited the area for the first break. I called down to the tunnel and nobody replied. There was no one down there. I then left the area. After I did this, all sorts of weird sounds like metallic scrapings and things moving all started happening after I left the area. Is everyone out of the tunnel? The next video clip is from the camera aimed at the beginning of the tunnel entrance. It's looking at the laser lights that I have projecting along the far wall. In this camera view, something happened that almost never happens. You can see something is distorting the laser lights. They're being moved and manipulated, and they're almost like they're shaking. The laser projectors are sitting on the concrete floor, so the projectors themselves are not moving. So whatever it is in the air and distorting these laser lights. The next two clips contain EVP voices asking for help. One of the clips also has a booming sound in it in the background. That is a fireworks display going off at a neighboring sporting event. The next clip was recorded by the game camera down in the tunnel. Two men are having a conversation when a third EVP voice pipes up and says, "Help them out." The next group of clips discuss an event where people were feeling sick and nauseous and having other physical side effects by visiting this one cell room on the north side of the basement hallway. It's the area that's closest to the renovated kitchen area.
That's the room I walked in and just got sick, like,
Yeah, I felt kind of sick to my stomach as soon as I walked in here.
when I walked in this one, and that's never happened.
Yeah, like I walked in here and my stomach kind
I'm okay this time then.
Have you had anyone talk about any of the cells tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
for some reason, this one on the right, this one has been the active one tonight.
I haven't gone in there since earlier tonight because I walked in there and the second I hit the center of the room, my knees went weak and I just had this overwhelming like cold just come over me. It was the weirdest thing. I felt super dizzy. I don't feel it now, but
Yes, it comes and goes.
It just like where we were standing right when I hit here, I just felt really dizzy and I just like.
This is the room I came in earlier tonight and got sick.
Yeah, I just felt super dizzy and uneasy and cold.
Yeah, I got sick.
Upstairs, we were sitting on the set of the edge of the stage. We were up on top in the ballroom, on the stage, and we were sitting there. And she was asking a question. And she said, "Cross for boy, open for girl," and it crossed. And as it crossed, something literally did that to my shoulder. Okay. You know, right behind me on the stage.
Because I heard it twice.
Yes. See, right now I feel like something's standing behind me. I can feel it here on the back of my neck standing on end right now.
The next group of clips is very interesting in that some of these EVP voices are interacting with the people, answering questions, making comments on what they're doing, and in general just interacting with the individuals at a very high level.
Can you talk to us, Mr. Boots?
Thank you. Can you talk to Jess?
For sure.
Mr. Bruce, can you please come on down and say hello?
Music, but this is nothing compared to that.
Did you just hear something a moment ago?
And if you're a prisoner, I would try to find justice.
The next group of clips contain footage of people describing their encounters down in the tunnel.
That is interesting. You see, we're roasting, and they're freezing to death. Then when we start to walk, they're hearing them.
I swear.
I had cobweb feelings the whole time.
I did
just
too.
like when I was walking.
Yes, that's the most common form of being touched down there is the cobwebs, where you feel like you just walk through the.
Yeah.
Did you see that spike?
Yeah.
It went to 1.9.
Did you hear that though? Was
Yes.
that her? The whisper
I don't
was
know.
her?
She doesn't seem to hear me. The tunnel.
Yep.
My
Hey, you
whole left
visit.
side is tingling right now.
Ah.
My entire left side.
Okay.
Now I've got goosebumps.